the smartest dinosaur that ever lived, and how it outsmarted its prey. Imagine walking through a prehistoric forest late in the Cretaceous period. The air is heavy with heat, and the ground is scattered with fallen leaves and broken branches. Somewhere nearby, small animals move through the undergrowth while larger herbivores graze among thick vegetation. It feels calm at first. No thunder of giant footsteps, no earth-shaking roars, just quiet. But that quiet is not peace. It is tension. Because somewhere in that forest, a predator is watching. Not a massive giant towering over the landscape, but something smaller, faster, and far more patient than anything you expected. It does not rush. It does not roar to announce itself. Instead, it waits, observing every movement, every hesitation, every tiny mistake made by the animals around it. And that is what makes it dangerous. In the prehistoric world, size often meant power. Huge predators dominated through strength and crushing jaws. But there was another path to survival: intelligence. The ability to read the environment, choose the right moment, and strike when the odds shifted in your favor. Among the dinosaurs, there was one predator, often associated with that kind of intelligence: a small theropod known as Troodon. While debates continue among paleontologists about classification and naming, Troodon has become the symbol of a type of dinosaur that possessed unusually large brains for its size, sharp senses, and quick reactions. And in the world of predators, those traits can transform a hunter into something far more effective than brute force alone. Life in the late Cretaceous was filled with constant risk, or herbivores could not rely solely on strength or armor to survive. Many dangers were smaller and faster than the giant carnivores people often imagine. Small predators thrived in the spaces between larger animals, moving through forests, plains, and riverbanks where their agility gave them an advantage. Troodon lived in that world. It stood roughly the height of a large bird, light enough to move quickly but equipped with sharp claws and serrated teeth capable of tearing flesh. Its skull housed large eye sockets, suggesting excellent vision that could have been especially useful during low light conditions. Combined with a relatively large brain compared to body size, these features hint at an animal capable of processing information quickly. That meant noticing subtle details in the behavior of prey. A slight limp in an herbivore, while a distracted juvenile separated from its group. A moment when the herd shifted its attention elsewhere. These small observations could determine success or failure during a hunt. For a predator of Troodon's size, failure could be dangerous. An injury from a defensive kick or horn might end its life. So careful decision-making became part of survival itself. Instead of rushing toward prey the moment it appeared, Troodon likely observed first, waiting for the moment when attacking became the safest and most effective option. This approach created a different kind of predator, one that treated hunting less like a sudden burst of violence and more like a puzzle waiting to be solved. Imagine a herd of small herbivorous dinosaurs moving across open ground. They stay close together, constantly watching for danger. So if a large carnivore approached, they might run or form a defensive circle. But Troodon would not attack directly. Instead, it would study the herd's movement. Which animals stayed at the edge? Which ones lagged behind? Which ones reacted slowly when the group changed direction? Those details mattered. In modern ecosystems, predators often focus on what scientists call vulnerability selection. Rather than targeting the strongest member of a group, they aim for individuals that are injured, young, or distracted. Troodon likely followed the same principle. From a distance, it could scan the herd and identify the animal most likely to make a mistake. Once that decision was made, the hunt could begin. The chosen target might not even realize it had been selected. One moment it was simply moving with the group, and the next moment a predator was already positioning itself to strike. The real challenge for prey animals in such encounters is confusion. When danger appears suddenly, instinct pushes animals to run. That instinct can save lives, but it can also create chaos. Troodon may have taken advantage of that reaction. Instead of launching a full attack immediately, it could rush forward briefly before pulling back. That sudden movement might cause the herd to scatter or shift direction. In the confusion, individuals might collide, stumble, or become separated from the group. Even a few seconds of disorder could expose a vulnerable target. Once separated, the prey animal loses the protection of the herd's many eyes and reactions. Now the predator's job becomes easier. Troodon did not need to overpower a healthy adult dinosaur instantly, but it only needed to isolate the right individual. Once that happened, speed and precision could do the rest. Another advantage for a predator like Troodon was its ability to use the environment strategically. Forests and plains are not empty spaces. They are filled with obstacles and terrain features that affect movement. Fallen logs block paths. Dense bushes slow down running animals. Riverbanks create slippery edges where footing becomes uncertain. A clever hunter can use these features to shape the direction of a chase. Instead of running straight after prey, the predator pressures it from the side, forcing it to move toward terrain that reduces its advantage. Imagine a small herbivore fleeing across uneven ground. At full speed, it may struggle to change direction quickly. If it encounters mud or a narrow passage between trees, its escape route becomes limited. In that moment, the predator does not need to outrun it. It only needs to close the distance while the prey struggles with the terrain. This type of environmental awareness turns the landscape itself into a weapon. But intelligence in predators also shows itself in restraint. One of the most dangerous mistakes a hunter can make is attacking when the odds are poor. For a small dinosaur like Troodon, a single injury could be fatal. If prey animals were too large or too alert, rushing into a fight would be reckless. Instead, the predator might wait, watching from a distance as the herd moved through the environment, waiting for fatigue to slow them down or for one individual to drift away from the others. Modern predators such as foxes and birds of prey often demonstrate similar patience. And they may watch potential prey for long periods before deciding whether an attack is worth the risk. Troodon likely relied on that same careful judgment. Success in the prehistoric world was not about constant action. It was about choosing the right moment. One of the most intriguing possibilities surrounding Troodon is the idea that it may have learned from experience. Animals with larger brains relative to their body size often display flexible behavior. That means they can adjust strategies when something fails. A failed hunt might reveal which approaches caused prey to panic and which allowed them to escape. Over time, those observations could refine the predator's tactics. Instead of repeating the same pattern each time, the hunter becomes more adaptable. In ecosystems where prey also evolves new defenses, that adaptability becomes extremely valuable. It allows the predator to adjust quickly rather than waiting for physical evolution to catch up. Behavior can change within a single lifetime. And when behavior changes, the balance between predator and prey shifts with it. All of these traits combine to create a picture of a dinosaur that relied heavily on awareness and strategy. Troodon was not the most powerful predator of its time. Larger theropods dominated the top of the food chain. But within its own niche, Troodon may have been remarkably effective. Its light body allowed quick movements. Its sharp claws and teeth delivered precise damage during an attack. And its brain gave it the ability to process information quickly, making decisions that increased its chances of success. In the dangerous ecosystems of the late Cretaceous, those qualities could be just as important as size. The prehistoric world is often imagined as a place ruled by giants. Towering carnivores and massive herbivores dominate our mental picture of dinosaur life. But ecosystems are rarely controlled by a single type of animal. Smaller predators play equally important roles. They shape the behavior of prey species, forcing them to remain alert and adaptable. Troodon may have been one of those influential hunters. Its presence reminded other animals that danger did not always arrive in the form of thunderous footsteps. Sometimes it arrived quietly, hidden among shadows and movement. When paleontologists examine fossils today, they search for clues that reveal how these animals lived. Skull shapes reveal sensory capabilities. Bone structures hint at speed and agility. Even trackways preserved in ancient sediment can show how animals moved across landscapes. Piece by piece, these clues allow scientists to reconstruct the likely behavior of creatures that vanished millions of years ago. In the case of Troodon, the evidence suggests a predator equipped for quick thinking and efficient hunting. Not necessarily a genius by modern standards, but certainly capable of a level of awareness that made it formidable in its environment. So was Troodon truly the smartest dinosaur that ever lived? That question may never have a definitive answer. Intelligence is difficult to measure even in living animals, and fossils cannot reveal every detail of behavior. But Troodon clearly possessed the tools that support strategic hunting. Sharp senses to detect movement and sound, a brain large enough to process complex information, a body designed for quick reactions and precise strikes. Together, these traits form the foundation of a predator that could outmaneuver prey through planning rather than brute strength. One of the most fascinating parts of Troodon's story is how it may have influenced the behavior of the animals around it. In ecosystems, predators do more than hunt. They shape how other species move, feed, and even where they choose to live. If a predator is large and obvious, prey animals can often see it coming and react quickly. But a smaller, observant hunter creates a different kind of pressure. Herbivores living alongside Troodon likely had to stay constantly alert, scanning their surroundings for subtle movement or unusual sounds, or even a quiet rustle in the grass or a sudden pause in the forest could signal danger. Over time, this pressure may have pushed prey species to develop sharper senses, quicker reactions, and stronger group coordination. There is also the possibility that Troodon was active during times when many other predators were less effective. Large eye sockets in its skull suggest that it may have been well adapted for low-light conditions such as dawn, dusk, or even nighttime hunting. If that is true, it would have given Troodon access to opportunities that larger daytime predators rarely used. Prey animals that felt relatively safe during dim lighting might suddenly face a hunter capable of navigating those conditions with ease. The ability to operate in lower light would also complement a strategy based on patience and observation. Moving quietly through shadows, studying prey behavior, and striking when visibility worked in its favor could turn darkness into an advantage rather than an obstacle. Looking at the bigger picture, Troodon represents an important reminder about how evolution experiments with different solutions to survival. Some predators grow enormous bodies and powerful jaws. Others rely on armor or speed. But occasionally, evolution explores a different path entirely, one built around awareness, flexibility, and decision-making. Troodon may have been one of those experiments. A dinosaur that proved success did not always require size or overwhelming force. Sometimes the most effective hunter was simply the one that understood the situation better than anything else around it. The lesson hidden in this ancient story is simple. Say the dinosaur world was not ruled by size alone. It was shaped by decisions made every moment by animals trying to survive. The predator that hesitated too long went hungry. The prey that reacted a second too late became the next meal. In that constant race for survival, intelligence offered a powerful advantage. A hunter capable of predicting behavior, manipulating terrain, and waiting for the perfect moment could succeed even against larger opponents. Troodon represents that possibility. A dinosaur that shows how thinking and strategy may have shaped the prehistoric hunt just as much as claws and teeth. It reminds us that evolution rewards not only strength but also awareness and adaptability. Long before humans appeared on Earth, the struggle for survival had already begun to favor creatures capable of learning from their environment. And once intelligence becomes part of the hunt, the entire ecosystem changes. Predators become more deliberate, prey becomes more cautious. Every movement carries meaning, every decision matters. The ancient forests and plains were not simply battlefields of brute force. They were arenas where strategy unfolded every day, shaping the lives of creatures that lived and died long before our time. If exploring these hidden stories of the dinosaur world sparked curiosity, make sure to subscribe and stay connected for more journeys into the deep past. The age of dinosaurs still holds countless mysteries, and each discovery brings us one step closer to understanding how these incredible animals truly lived.